Cimoooooooo! What is going on, guys? It's Cimo here at the Pro Play Tour Invitational with your first place winner. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Pak Pamornsut.
And what did you decide to play?
I decided to play Altergeist today.
And why did you decide to play this deck?
I just felt that it was a deck that I was the most comfortable with, and I didn't want to go into event and play Spirals because the last time I played Yu-Gi-Oh was in July of last year. So like a lot of people have played Spirals before, so they know a lot of technical plays that I just don't. And so I was like, I'm not gonna play a deck I don't know, and so I went with what I was really comfortable with.
That's good. And so, what were you like most fearing Spiral for this event? Obviously, to have the most representation. Right. What was like your mentality going into the event?
So I tested against Spirals and with like a bunch of my friends, and I realized that the deck is very fragile. If you hand trap them correctly and at the right time, they literally pass. And that's what happened a lot in like top 16 all the way through. Was that if you hand trap them or you imperm them correctly, they just literally pass. Yeah. And so my theory was that if I can, I needed to also side in a lot of go second cards because Altergeist has a really bad go second capability, and so you need cards that could like raise your ceiling per se. And so yeah, in the deck profile I'll show you like the spice.
And you literally 2-0'd every Spiral, you said, correct?
I 2-0'd every single Spiral plays except Bruce.
Okay.
So yeah, Bruce 2-0'd me in Swiss.
Awesome.
But that's the only Spiral play I lost to.
All right, well without further ado, let's see it.
So I'll start off with like the engine, the Altergeist cards. Of course, the one multi-faker. Concurry, this card was nuts. If you watch the final, you abuse this card, and that card just negates like Resort, it can negate Will. This card is actually insane because you can summon off the multi-faker, and Prime Banshee also summons this card, so this card has a lot more utility. So I definitely would say play at least one Concurry. I played 2 Silk. Yeah, this is gonna be the standard ratio, and 3 Mulseek, and then 3 Marionetter. So just standard ratios. But I just noticed a lot of people were cutting Concurry because they didn't want to break on him. But every time I open Concurry, I never felt bad because they don't realize I have an attack negating hand and they can negate a card. So that card is just really insane because you can also loop this with Silk and Spoofing. So like you don't really die even though you pay a lot of life points to Solemns. So it ended up being like insane. Next for the hand traps, I just played 3 Ash and 3 Imperm. I mean, I watched a lot of like YouTube videos and I watched like a lot of streams because like I said, I'm new to the game, so I need to understand like what PPGs are even like, what the meta's like, are there a lot of rogue representation? And I noticed that every time I watch like, the PPG streams, there's always like a lot of rogue. So I was like, Ash just hits everything and Imperm just kind of hits everything. So I'm like, I would look to main deck Droll, but if I'm playing against another control deck like Geist or like Gru and I Droll them, it's just so bad. I just lose 1 card. And against Gru, it might stop their turn because they hit in City and they can't flip the Gru to search the Fiendish. But at the end of the day, I still lose a card and they still have a set monster. And technically, if I summon a Mulseek and attack directly, Hidden City can just negate the attack and flip the Gru. So it just end up being like, in my head, like so neg. So I just end up signing the Drolls. In terms of more Altergeist like engines.
One more question. Why do you play Singing?
Yeah, so I watched a lot of your deck profiles on like, yeah, so I saw like Anti-Nash Terra, and then the other guy who has 6th place at like the last regional you did deck profiles at. And the same, it's like, essentially I just wanted, rather than play more go first cards, I want go second cards. Sangan is like super go first, and if I open Sangan another monster, it's just really bad. Yeah. But if I open Marionetter, it's just like, I'd rather open any other Altergeist monster. And I play like enough draw spells to like see them.
Okay, yeah, you heard that, Patrick James? No Sangan, okay.
No Sangan, yeah. So more Altergeist cards. I mean, Spoofing's not an Altergeist card, but it basically is. It's like the honorary one. Spoofing is just insane. Dodge Imperm, like dodge hand traps. You can even, if they like, I don't know, negate and destroy like a multi-faker in hand with a, I don't know, like any card, you can just spoof it back and don't lose resources. Spoofing is just crazy. I played 2 Protocol and 2 Manifestations, so this is where I differ from like most people's list. Most people play the 2 and the 1. I like the 2nd Manifestation just because this card lets you like just OTK. So a lot of people don't realize if you pass on empty board on Geist, like I can kill you. And that's the reason why I chose this control deck over other control decks, is because the most Guru is gonna do to you is 3400 or 47 with Umatrix. I'm like, that does nothing. But if I have a protocol, I can show the combo. If I have a protocol and I faker on their turn with a faker and a Mulseek, and I had a Link Rebuild up here, that's exactly 8,000, and I can like kill you.
Interesting.
Yeah, the other thing is you can do is if you Mulseek them for 500, you can do 7,700 with double Hexia and Marionetter. So like there's just so many ways that this deck just kills you if you like don't respect it. And so if you pass empty board, you're dying, which happened a lot today. They're like pass empty board, they'll try to evenly me, but I just make double Hexia, and so even if I didn't kill them, they couldn't even evenly me. They would need like 3 evenlies. And then of course, the spice, I guess. 3 evenly in the main deck. This card was nuts. Spiral is insane go first. Like everyone knows this. I mean, and in testing, I realized that Evenly doesn't do as much because they just end on the sleeper and they just pop your back row. But the thing with Evenly is like, even if they do that and they have no other cards on the field, sleeper can't actually trigger because it has to destroy a card to summon Super Agent. So in that sense, you know that like even if they pop 2 of your cards, you still have 5 cards in your hand that it doesn't, are technically 4 because you have to you have to bait out the Tri-Gate. But in that instance, it's just insane. Evenly came up a lot. In top 8 and top 4, I lost the dice roll like all the way into the final. And so drawing Evenly just like raised my ceiling a lot where I can just like rip them for like 5-6 cards. It becomes +5. So it's really good. Then of course the other spice, 3 Crackdown. This card was insane.
This overperformed.
This over Warning, and the reason why I like this over Warning is because Warning you have to pay life points, and sometimes like you can negate like the inherent summon and stuff, but it's fine. But if it's just like I'd rather take their master plan instead of having master plan in the grave. And so that's why Crackdown is insane in like the Spiral deck, because you can crack down their monster, and if they do have Resort, the play that I did was I just Silk. I did Faker, Curry, target Resort, and then I just Silk bounced the Faker and bounced their card. So there's ways to play around Resort even with Crackdown. And that won me the game because I was able to take his double Helix before he got to activate the effect. And so Crackdown is really nuts. And then of course the Solemn package, 3 Judgment, and then 3 Strikes. Overall this was just insane. I like Strike over Warning too because let's say you're trying to resolve spoofing and you have a set strike. If they ask you, you can just strike it and then know like your stuff is going through. So I really like this card a lot. And then I guess into the extra, and then of course the 5 spell cards in my deck, double Duality and then triple Pot of Extravagance. This card is crazy. In top 8 or top 4 when I played against Ruben, I Extravagance into Duality into a Spear mode. Like you draw so much. Essentially this is the Pot of Greed of the deck, but it's like you can think of it like an allure or like just draw cards and let's just see your side deck. It's just like really nuts. And especially like when you're playing your side cards, you want to see it. Like if you see this in your opening hand, it gets really crazy. And even if they like drone stack you, if you have an Extravagance, you're drawing all 3 cards. They can stack you however you want. It doesn't even matter. And then if you Duality, then you're seeing 6 cards essentially because you draw for turn, you draw 2, and then Dualist to see 3 more cards potentially into your side deck. So that's just nuts.
40 cards?
40 cards exactly, yeah. This is my extra deck, triple Hexia. This card is just insane. Pass empty board, you're gonna die because this deck can OTK. It's one of the only control decks that can OTK. Like Striker, they do 1500, maybe 3000 pass. And then of course to trigger your cards, you have 3 Linkubio and 1 Amaraj. Amaraj is nuts because like in the finals, if you draw Silk plus Manifestation, all you do is you link Amaraj and you link the Silk into Amaraj, and then you have a Manifestation and you can loop that with Silk. So that's like another insane combo you can do. So Silk doesn't always brick you in that instance, and it helps unbrick you if you draw Manifestation with it. And then this is like the utility extra deck cards. Phoenix, Nightmare, the Nightmare package, and then Hida. Hida came up once in when I had to take their Ash and just go for a Borosor. And so that's like a play. The other play you can do is actually, I mean, you can take their Phoenix, and you can't make Evermax with it because it has to be summoned from the extra deck, and you'll recognize it's from the grave. But like, it just lets you link climb to Ningirsu to like out like really dumb card, not dumb card. I love Endymion, but like the Endymion card that can't be targeted, it can't be destroyed. That's crazy. Like cards like Evermax, like it's just really hard for us to out.
Oh yeah, it's not our match. You actually did
yeah.
That to me, yeah.
So you have to like play Ningirsu. And then of course Ningirsu is just there for that. And then you play 3 Link 4s, the Boroload Dragon, which helped me out Evermax. Evermax itself, and then Borosword. I made Borosword once. It actually did come up, so that was pretty good. And then I asked for the side deck. Three Ball. This card, I got convinced to play it last minute, so shout out to Justin. Justin Singh told me to play this card over Nibiru because just like he was saying, like if you Nibiru them, they sometimes full combo you anyways, which is like insane. Like so I'm just like, okay, if they're gonna full combo me, like might as well play cards that if I top deck it's good. And if I'm going second, if this is a 6 card, that's nice. And if you play Duality and Extravagance, you have a high chance of seeing this. And if you Duality into like a Rock or like Nibiru, you just want to cry. It's just like so bad. So this card came up. I mean, yeah, I was spear moding everyone today. It was nuts. Of course, you have to respect Spirals. Droll is a really good hand trap. You just have to play it. It also, the only other time I ever sided was against Pendulum, against you, Paul. Yeah. Just because, like, I mean, if you're playing the Spellbook engine, bro, you're like drawing like 5-6 times because you Crowley, you Secret, you summon the normal summon, like you're just searching like insane. Yeah. So it's really good at just stopping turns, and it helps the Pendulum players. It prevents them from getting 3 counters on Servant. Yeah. That's like the biggest thing. He
drove me, I passed, and he said something jumping in the strike, and yeah, it just was over from there. He told me in 10 minutes, so he deserved to win this event.
And then I side 2 warning in, and I just wanted to respect Denko's. Like I really respected like the Pendulum matchup. Actually, I thought it was more representation of Pendulum. And the thing with Pendulum is they don't use their normal summon. So if they Denko you, you're dying, you're dead. So you have to just play this card, and so essentially you have 5 ways to out Denko with these 2 and the 3 Solemn in the main. But you just have to respect Denko. That card is like really nuts. Let's see what else. So the 3 border. So this is insane for the mirror because it's literally whoever gets to a monster first, and if you get to a border, they literally can't out it sometimes. The only way they have to out it, they have to use so much resources that it's like really tough. Border did cost me 1 game because someone was like main decking, or like he main decked Instant Fusion and he kept them in. So that on the relinquish really hurt. But essentially what you can do is just play border control, like set a bunch of traps and just have border. It's like really degenerate, but you just need this to win when like a lot of cards just use effects. Yeah, you gotta respect back row decks, just heavy Storm Duster. I mean, there's not much to say about this except that like it's like really crazy. And then of course the 1 Pankratops. I never sided this card. I realized that I should have tested more, but like when I was side, I only take 6 cards out. So most of the time, I side like for example against like the Spiral matchup, I just side these cards in. And if I'm like really scared, I sometimes side the Pankratops in too, just because it helps break the board a little more. And like if I'm playing against like Control, for example, I just go this, the Pankratops, and like 2 warning, because if you need to get like inherent summon of like Guru, or they inherently just flips it, you're just warning them and they just like literally lose. So like, I mean, most of the time I'm siding like 6 cards, so I realized that like I should have just like tested more. I think instead of the 1 Pankratops, I might have played 1 Trap Trick. Just to respect back row. And awesome. Then yeah, that's pretty much it.
Any shout outs?
Yeah, shout out to like so many people. I guess shout out to my team back home, like Mammals, or like PNC Mammals. It's like not really a team, but it's just like a really cool group of friends, and they like really made a good community for me when I got to like Jersey and started playing in like the Jersey scene. Like shout out to like James Chow. He's like just a really good guy. He has like a bunch of cards. I mean, these are all mine, but like if I ever needed anything, like I know he got me. Well, shout out to like Nick Callis. He's like just a homie, like really good guy. Shout out to Tommy, who kept saying I was gonna win, and I actually ended up winning, which is funny. Shout out to Justin Singh. He gave me a lot of really good Altergeist tips, and like he was like super friendly about it, like and he shared me like a lot of knowledge. I really appreciate that. Yeah, shout out to like the Cardboard Crack group chat. It's like all the people back there in the Jersey community, like they're just like really cool. But yeah, overall, I mean, if I forgot anyone, I'm sorry. I'm just like exhausted. But yeah, of course, shout out like Coopstar Cards, Paul Cooper, Pen God, Don't Talk Trip. But yeah, so yeah, thank you everyone.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.